It's the 1600s and concerns about crime are on the rise. There has been massive population growth in England. At the beginning of the 16th century, the population is estimated to be around 2.3 million. By 1700, it is thought to be over 5 million. The country is also experiencing rapid urbanisation, with England's urban population increasing by 732% between 1600 and 1800. This leads to more visible inequality and poverty in cities. For example, there are far more vagrants and beggars on the streets. This also means more anonymity, creating much more opportunity to commit crimes such as theft and fraud. To try and keep on top of this, there are several systems of law enforcement in place, one of which is that of parish constables and the night watch, circa 1500 to circa 1700. One important part of the law enforcement system is the parish constable, sometimes also known as the town, village or petty constable. The constable is neither paid nor necessarily experienced, but rather a wealthy citizen or householder who is selected generally once a year by his local community. How this selection is done depends on the community. Sometimes they are elected from a selection of eligible people, sometimes they take it in turns, sometimes the previous constable selects his successor, and there are even a couple of cases where one person in particular has the right to decide. There are several similar positions, which a constable would likely also have to have fulfilled at some point, such as that of the church warden, member of a vestry, or juryman, meaning he would have some familiarity with the role. A constable will also likely have friends or family, or at the very least know someone who has served in the position before them, to give a bit of insight into the job. If they want extra help, there are handbooks which they can buy, with information on the role to help them along. One problem every constable faces is that they have to keep living in the neighbourhood, even after their year of service. So, sometimes for their own sake, it is easier just to keep their head down and turn a bit of a blind eye, to not annoy the wrong people, and many constables choose to do so. Some also choose to get out of their duty by paying someone to be their deputy and do the work on their behalf. So what exactly does a constable do? There are a few parts to the job. When called upon by someone who has been the victim of a serious offence, they are expected to respond and bring the person accused before a justice. They have some extra authority over ordinary citizens, such as the power to arrest, imprison, break into houses if required, and also interfere in assaults and disturbances. They are involved in public punishments carried out in their area, such as the pillory and public whippings. They're expected to be at home during the day with their staff outside the door so that people who need their help know where to come and find them. Their final key duty is to keep their neighbourhood under surveillance. Less so during the day, but during the night, and this means organising the night watch. For a long time there has been a belief that nighttime brings danger, robbery, burglary, assaults. At night the streets are dimly, if barely lit. Lighting consists of candles, which inhabitants are required to put out until the night watch comes on duty, at 9 p.m. in the winter and 10 p.m. in the summer, and the moon, if the clouds aren't in the way. There is a belief that very few people have a legitimate reason to be on the streets after dark, and nighttime is when much immoral behaviour takes place, so there essentially exists a curfew. To help with this danger, there exists the night watch, which originally began way back in the 13th century. The night watch, under the command of the parish constable, are tasked with patrolling the streets at night. Similarly to the constables, the watchmen are unpaid members of the upper classes, and every householder is expected to serve their turn on the watch. Also similarly to the constables, it is possible to pay someone to do the duty on your behalf. And this is such an increasingly popular option that by the late 1600s, the night watch is virtually a paid force. The night watch exists to prevent the dangers of nighttime crime, watch out for fires, and generally keep the streets secure at night. They are to ensure unauthorised people are not wandering on the streets at night, stopping and challenging the people they come across to see if they have a good excuse for being out and about. Throughout the 17th century, this task becomes increasingly difficult as a result of a growing population and evening entertainment, such as taverns, theatres, and coffee houses, staying open later. A final important piece to the structure of law enforcement in this time period is the thief-taker. There is no expectation for constables to investigate crimes in the way that the modern police would. Instead, this is considered to be the victim's job. The victim themselves must investigate, gather evidence, find the perpetrator, and bring the charges. This is where the thief-taker comes in, essentially a form of private investigator, both someone you can pay to investigate the crime you are a victim of on your behalf, and also someone who investigates crimes in the hope to win the paid reward offered by the authorities. There are, however, some high-profile cases of dodgy, scheming thief-takers. The system is ripe for abuse. One such case is that of Jonathan Wild. Wild is able to make money by returning goods stolen by thieves to their owners. The catch being that he controls the gang of thieves in the first place. Parish constables and the night watch, circa 1500 to circa 1700. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell all your friends. If you like what I do enough that you would like to support the channel financially to keep making free history resources, then you can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/alonglongtimeago. And to hear the latest updates about new videos and the odd other post, you can find me on Instagram at alonglongtimeago and on Blue Sky. Bye!